आपका संभालना है, आपने दी हमें दिव्य पालना, प्यार से हमें आपका संभालना गूंजेगी कानों में, गूंजेगी कानों में ओ दादी, आपकी मधुर रागिनी, शक्तियों से सजी ज्ञान रत्नों की धनी, प्यारी दादी रतन मोहिनी, शक्तियों से सजी। आज हम आपको धन्यवाद कहें, आज हम आपको धन्यवाद कहें, नैनों से प्रेम के मोती बहे, नैनों से प्रेम के मोती बहे, रहती हो हमारे दिल में यही, आ रहती हो हमारे दिल में यही, दिल ने दी विदाई नहीं, शक्तियों से सजी ज्ञान रत्नों की धनी, प्यारी दादी रतन मोहिनी, शक्तियों से सजी। ज्ञान का प्रकाश हो, प्रेम का सकाश हो, सृष्टि के ललाट पर आध्यात्म का आकाश हो, ओ दादी, दादी, धन्य है साधना आपकी धारणा, अपने श्वास श्वास में बाबा को उतारना, मुस्कुराती छवि ममता में घनी, बाबा समान फरिश्ता बनी, शक्तियों से सजी ज्ञान रत्नों की धनी, प्यारी दादी रतन मोहिनी, दिव्यता से आपकी ओ दादी, मिलती रहेगी सदा रोशनी, शक्तियों से सजी ज्ञान रत्नों की धनी, प्यारी दादी रतन मोहिनी, प्यारी दादी रतन मोहिनी, प्यारी दादी रतन मोहिनी।
Om Shanti, Sister Jayanti.
Om Shanti, Aruna Ben, and everyone else.
And Om Shanti to everyone. And good to have you back, Sister Jayanti.
Happy to be back.
And just a word about Dadi Ratan Mohini. As we heard nice things in the song about her, but also what I remember of her is her simplicity, because I remember her in her little room in the beginning. As with all dadis, they had very little spaces to live in, and she was living with her mother. So that little room, which was maybe, 2 meters by 3 meters, was for her and her mother. And she took such good care of her mother. And then I also remember, do you remember Sister Jayanti, her dining room? Her dining room was probably 1 meter by 2 meter, just opposite where Urvashi Ben's office is in Madhuban. And so the memory that I have of Dadi is being absolutely surrendered and a right hand of Dadi Kumarka, because there was no questioning, no competition, no jealousy, and she was just surrendered and Haji and available. And I think if we don't know anything more about her, that in itself is admirable. So a lot to learn from that. So thank you, Sister Jayanti. And I was thinking, having seen the picture behind you, I was thinking she was one of those last bricks of the foundation. So thank you. Over to you.
Om Shanti. I want to say two things. One of the very early days in London, September 1972. The center was just about a year established, and Dr. Nirmala had gone off to Africa for service, and Dadi Ratan Mohini arrived. And as Aruna had said, totally simple, but adjusting to a new country, a new way of life, living on her own with Caribbean folk above who cooked fish every evening. And it was the same house, so the kitchen was on a landing. So she didn't complain one little bit, nothing. And then at some point in the following summer, I don't remember the month, but Devi Mata, her mother, arrived, and I thought that she would stay for a few days and not like it and go away. But she was happy. Really, she found that the pasya, the atmosphere, so loving, so powerful and silent, that she stayed through till December 73. And then both of them came back to Bombay for the Mela. 73 was a year that the Delhi Mela happened. You've heard stories about that at Leela Ground and then Ram Leela Ground. And then the next one was in Bombay on Cross Maidan, huge space, right in the heart of the city, by Churchgate Station. Just imagine how busy that road is. And so huge Mela and a great success. And then very recently, Baba said something very lovely about her. Baba said, because she was wanting to serve, and the last year or so, her body, her chariot didn't have the capacity to serve. She had that desire to be Baba's instrument, to share. And so Baba kept her in the subtle region for some days so that she could serve with Baba from the subtle region. And that's about the same time that within the space of days, the Home Minister of India, and that's literally next to the Prime Minister, very powerful guy. Some would say even the engine behind the Prime Minister. And then a few days later, we have the Defense Minister. And guess who's at the heart of everything that's going on now in India at the current time? I won't repeat the news, but you know what's going on. But these two men with tremendous capacity and power, and both of them coming to Shantivan and talking about spirituality, the defense minister saying that every warrior needs to be a yogi, and every yogi is a warrior. And so he put it together very well. And then he described some of the qualities, etc. And then a few days later, the education minister comes. Now, all this happened one after the other without too much effort on anyone's part. And so we were saying that because with them then came all the Rajasthan troop, the entourage, the chief minister, the governor, this one, that one, and the other one, because that's the protocol. When a central central government minister comes, then the state ministers have to be present. But Dadi Ratan Mohini was the person who was responsible for Rajasthan specifically. And so from up above, she pulled all the main people from Rajasthan immediately after her departure. And so Baba works in mysterious ways, but Baba works to fulfill the pure desires that every soul has. So on to the Murli. And this Murli, 2005, and I remember that year very, very well for a number of different reasons. And yes, I was there when Baba was speaking. And Baba firstly just commenting on the fortune of the children and how the fortune, the line of fortune, is visible through the light on the forehead, is visible through the light, power, and love from your eyes, is visible from the pure words and sweet words and intoxicating words you use to serve with, is visible, and so that becomes a sweet smile on your lips, is visible on your hands. And of course, yes, we know about the hands of fortune, but Baba saying your hands are full of all attainments. And did you know that your feet also are very, very specific, just as the hand and the imprints of the hand, the thumbprint or any of the fingerprints, they're unique to you. Nobody else quite matches them. Well, you've probably never seen it on your foot. Tonight before you go to bed and you're washing your feet. Have a look at them and you'll see that the feet also have many, many lines and they also are unique to you. But Baba, of course, talking about the fortune of your feet and how every foot that you've taken has brought you multi-million times fortune. So every aspect of you shining with fortune. And is there anything that has not been attained in Brahman life? You know, all the spiritual gifts that God gives, we can make a list and quickly roll them off our tongue. And yes, we experience them, but Baba wants us to emerge them all the time, all the time. And then what I've also noticed is that it's not just physical gifts, but also the comfort that Baba gives all his children. There was a family who came to Baba very early on in the 80s in London, and the woman was separated from her husband. I don't know that they were separated already or whether it was because of purity, but certainly from my conscious time, I know that she and her child were on their own. And they had a very simple, very basic life. And you know what? The son studied, and not even degree in university or anything, but studied to such an extent that he was able to get a good job. And he studied whilst in his job, and he's become higher and higher and higher in his job. And now she travels the world with him. They were recently in the USA, they were recently in Africa, you name it, and they've been there because the son's work takes him to all these different places. And Dadi had said to him when he was a teenager, you must stay with your mother and look after her. And he's done that with love, with sincerity, and followed the Brahmin path absolutely straight, everything with Srimad. And they have a lovely, comfortable home. They live in that home together. And so from nothing, they had literally nothing. And today they have everything. And so I'm so aware that Baba gives us not only abundance in terms of the treasures of attainments of the heart, but in some form or another, things come together and nature becomes the server, matter becomes a server, prakriti dasi. Matter becomes the server. And this is just one example, but I'm sure in your maybe city, in your country, you know of people who've been able to go through everything and come to that stage. So how deep is our gratitude to God? How deep is our appreciation for all that Baba has done for us and continues to do for us all the time? And so what Baba is saying is that just let that awareness emerge, stay emerged. Who am I and what has Baba given me? Is there anything I don't have? And truly, I think most of us would say with a hand on our heart, there's nothing that Baba hasn't given us. And so that stage of being the carefree emperor, it's a title that Sakar Baba uses in the Sakar Murlis. And of course, we saw Baba in that intoxication of always royal and dignified, and with that spiritual authority and the concern and love for everyone, which are the signs of an emperor, or at least an emperor of the Golden Age, not after that in the Copper Age or anywhere, but certainly the emperor of the Golden Age, that love and concern and compassion that everyone in my kingdom should be happy. And we saw him totally carefree. On the one side, Baba speaks about his care for the sisters in bondage who were experiencing so much suffering. But on the other side, we saw him absolutely relaxed and carefree. There are several photographs of Baba in that pose. You've seen them, I won't repeat it now. But really, Baba the carefree emperor, absolutely. And why? Because Baba did not allow himself to worry about anything. So Baba's saying that you are the ones who see the three aspects of time, the past, the present, and the future. And seeing that whatever is going on today does not cause you fear or worry or anxiety, whether it's in terms of the big things happening in the world out there or the little things happening in my little world. Can I stay free from tension? Can I stay free from worry and fear? Yes. Why? Because Baba's with me. I have all attainments with me. And Baba emphasizing that Sangam Yuga is a time to see your attainments and emerge them. There's the account of 21 generations of treasures. So 8 and 12, Golden Age, Silver Age, but one now in Sangam Yuga. And again, Baba reminded us over a long period of time. So have you had that experience of a long period of time in which you've been feeling completely full of all attainments? And if not, why not? And so let yourself at least enjoy the beauty of Sangam Yuga by feeling all those attainments, something that nothing else can take away from you. What people say, what people do is their story, it's not mine. I have to be sure that I keep my attainments with me so that I can then share them all and give them to others also. So that was the first part of the Murli. Then Baba was appreciating how all the children have come from all around, and 50 countries were represented in Madhuban at that time. When we have the NCCC, we have 102, 105 countries represented. But in 2005, in the month of October, it was 50 countries. And Baba was saying, whose love is greater? And for the first time, I don't remember this before. Usually, Baba always reminds us that God's love is constant, is consistent, and is absolutely unlimited. And so this time, Baba said, the children's love is far greater than the father's, because children have come from all the different corners to be here with the father. But then who's the one who's traveled the furthest to be here? Not America, not London, but Baba. Baba has come from so far away to be with all of you. And then the next subject that Baba took up was the subject of the point, and how this is a time to experience yourself as the point. This is a time to experience putting a full stop. Why? Because you have to learn to be self-sovereigns, masters of the self. And so are you able to use your thoughts, your intellect, and your sanskars in a way that you choose at all times for as long as you want? I say, I'm going to stay peaceful. That's my thought when I hear such a Murli. Yes, I'm going to stay very peaceful. So Amrit Vela, I'm good. I experience peace. Maybe it continues through the Murli. And then at the end of the Murli, conversations begin and people ask awkward questions, strange questions. People are getting upset or complaining. And what happens to my peace at that time? Where does my peace disappear? And so can I keep my mind in that awareness of peace, not just during meditation and Murli, but at all times through the day? And so to keep my mind in the consciousness that I would like to have, to keep my intellect on the level that I would like it to be at, to keep the sanskars I want emerged, to be emerged, and not the other sanskars that I want to finish and merge popping up. So have I reached that state of total mastery? And the practice that Baba gave us so that we attain that stage, the point, just merge everything else and be aware of I, that being of light, and shine. Somebody reminded us of that childhood song, let the light shine, be the light that's shining all the time. And so can I remember that and let the light shine? And then if something happens, instantly a reaction of who, why, what, when. No. Full stop. Nothing but a full stop. No question mark, not even an exclamation mark, just a full stop so that all those thoughts can remain merged and not emerge. And then the third thing that Baba said this time, keep churning the points of elevated ideas that Baba gives you all the time. And so practice these three aspects of the point. And what you'll find is that your practice becomes stronger and stronger to the point when it's really time for you to go leave the body. In a second, the soul will be able to fly without any trouble whatsoever. In a second, all other thoughts will become still and you'll just be in that form of the shining star, so that you're not distracted, you're not attracted, you're not confused, but the soul is ready to go home with the Father. And so do I have such practice that in the little situations that I'm dealing with today, I'm able to put a full stop. And so I have to keep practicing until I come to that of 1 second. In a second, I can be soul conscious, detached from the body. In a second, I can put a full stop so that there are no waste thoughts. Not that they come, then I try and stop them or I convert them. No, they don't come. And the soul is constantly elevated, thinking about the beautiful elevated things that Baba has shared with us each day. So that's the desire in God's heart. So often Baba expresses what are the pure desires that he has. And of course for Baba, is there any desire that Baba has for himself personally? No way. But the desire that God has for all of us, he wants to see us be self-sovereigns, masters of our own consciousness and our own faculties. And then Baba turned his attention to the guests. And it seems that that was a time when we would have had a program. And I was recollecting that a very powerful individual from Los Angeles, whose husband was in films, a film producer, they had gathered their family and friends and had a retreat in Gyan Sarovar. So this was our guest program. And some of them then were close enough to stay for Baba's meeting. And so Baba's seeing them, but also Baba's seeing the VIPs who've come from India, because those were the days that Baba would say, yes, bring your VIPs. Baba will meet them. Baba will give them a good experience. And so the Bharatvasis had also brought their VIPs. And then Baba's appreciating them, that they're the ones who had the courage to become easy, natural yogis. Because yes, they were loving, they were cooperative, they were sayogi, snehi, sayogi. So through all the projects that have been happening, many, many high-level people have been coming into cooperation, coming into a bond of love with the BKs. But now Baba saw that they had come to Madhuban, and so it was a chance for them to become yogis, natural, easy yogis. And also, if they had the courage to be natural, easy yogis, then the next step was that they would be messengers. They would be able to share God's message with everyone. And the purpose of sharing the message, it's not just God has come, not like that. It's actually giving souls who I'm in connection with, whatever level, can I give them such an understanding of who is God so that they connect with God. And as a result of that connection with God, they're able to allow those whom they serve to be liberated from sorrow. Now, just think about your circle of family and friends and how many of them have some type of sorrow that they're living with about themselves, about their son, their daughter, their husband, their wife, whoever. But there isn't a person who can say, truly, I have no sorrow at all. Even if I don't have sorrow now, maybe I'm a bit concerned about the future. What's going to happen to my family when I'm gone? Maybe I think, well, today is okay, but I know how difficult it's been in the past, and I'm not willing to let go of the challenges of that experience. And so Baba saying, liberate them from sorrow. And then Baba speaking to the group generally that, yes, you've come late, you've come last, but drama has within itself the possibility that even those who come last can go fast and come first. And it's beautiful to see new Brahmins in the sense that, of course, Baba was there, Baba gave sustenance, and Dadis were there, they gave sustenance. And we used to love taking them to Madhuban to meet the Dadis, and they would enjoy that experience greatly. But the amazing thing is that now, no Dadis, even Dadi Ratan Mohini wasn't so available. But somehow, even new souls who come to Madhuban first time, second time, they carry away such a beautiful experience of the family, of the vastness of Madhuban, the unlimited family, and Baba's presence. Baba is making his presence known and felt. It's God's magic that this is happening, and that the numbers of people who want to come to Madhuban grows and grows and grows each season. So really, God's magic is at work in completing his task. And of course, we are very close to completion now, not long to go. Just look at what's going on and you'll see. So this is where Baba is saying, even at that time, liberate souls from sorrow and distress. And then Baba was speaking to the teachers. And he used an expression that you've heard, I'm sure. Let your features reveal the future. And look at the image of Lakshmi and Narayan, or even Baba and Mama's faces. Handsome, masculine faces, beautiful female faces. And so my features are not like that. So how can my feature reveal the future? And what Baba meant was that they should be able to feel happiness in your presence. And so the future is visible, not through your face in that way, but through the way in which you speak, the way in which you relate to them, the way in which your vibrations work. And so they're feeling all of that. And as a result of all of that, they really do feel that, yes, this is the door for the future. Earlier, Baba had said, they ask you questions. When is the golden age coming? And you say, yes, we know it's coming for sure. You don't have a date, but they don't need a date because that would just make them date conscious. They have to learn to be soul conscious. And so I don't have a date, but I mustn't think about a date. Baba said, do what you need to do now. Don't wait for time. Time is your creation. The creator has to be the one who's ahead and leading the way. And so can my features give others the experience of being in a safe space, a comfortable space, a sacred space, but most of all, a space in which there's divinity. They can feel that it's divine. Literally, when you taste some chocolate, they say, oh, it tastes divine. But that's not divinity. But it's an expression to share how wonderful something is. But truly, a space that is divine. Those deity vibrations, those deity qualifications should be visible and tangible in the atmosphere. So Baba then also talking about being the holy swans with the power to discern. And so what is it that's useful? And how is it I can really strengthen myself and not waste my time over little things? So with that power of discernment, to let go of anything that causes sorrow. How can I serve if I'm experiencing sorrow? So can I let go of whatever it is that's not very clean, not very pure, that causes pain and sorrow? I have to let go of all of that, have the discernment capacity, let go of all of that, and just maintain my inner state of happiness so that I can share that happiness with every single person. So again, a beautiful Murli, and Baba giving us many tips about what we need to practice. And in this case, be the carefree emperor, be the self-sovereign, and always, always be the one who's in charge of what's going on in your thoughts and feelings and emotions and your own destiny. So.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sister Jayanti. So just maybe a couple of things from the Murli. So, and connected to what you were just saying, where Baba said, when something happens, just say, Baba, sweet Baba, take this sorrow. So again, what is the percentage of our responsibility? You kind of explained, and Baba also explained that we have to let go of it. But what is actually happening when we hand it over to God? Is it just we're relinquishing our responsibility? So why does Baba say that? Is he just saying that to make us happy, or does it really work? Because actually, in fact, when I had a personal meeting with Baba, Baba had said to me, anytime you say Baba, and Baba is bound to help you. So in a sense, I make it work because I say it and I feel I'm making the effort to make the blessing work, you see?
Mm-hmm.
So
It always has to be two-sided. It can't just be that I say, well, I'm not going to do anything now, Baba, it's up to you. That's just carelessness and laziness. But what I need to do is to do whatever it is I can. For example, in this subject of sorrow, if today somebody is giving me sorrow, can I realize that if I absorb it within myself, then I'm going to definitely cause somebody sorrow, maybe not that same person, but I'm going to be sharing sorrow with others through my words, through my behavior, through my eyes, in some way or another. And so I'll be multiplying my karma, bad karma. And so at that moment when sorrow is coming to me, I say, Baba, you have to help so that I don't absorb it. It's happening. Baba's not going to stop it, but I'm taking Baba's power to be able to protect myself so that that acts as a shield and I don't allow myself to absorb the sorrow, and the scene finishes, it passes, and I don't even remember it. Otherwise, if I haven't done that, I take the sorrow and it leaves such an imprint that, you know, the word that they've said took 10 seconds for them to say it. How many times does it come back again and again and again in my mind and create a disturbance? And so I think my effort has to be to invoke Baba, but also to use what Baba's sharing with me, his light and might, to protect myself so that I don't absorb anything from out there.
Yes, thanks. And when you were speaking earlier, Jayanti-ben, and you were talking about waste, then for me, I can see it's waste. And then I ask myself, okay, so where's this coming from? From inside of me, I mean. I put the spotlight on me and I say, what is really going on inside? So is that good or not? Or we should just completely put a full stop? Is there some margin for looking within?
Because everything is coming to me as a mirror to show me what's going on inside, absolutely turning inside and just seeing, well, why am I reacting? If I've reached the stage where I'm not reacting, I can just put a full stop instantly and it's really gone, wonderful. But to get to that stage is a process. And the steps that you've described as part of that journey, something's happened and I go inside and I ask myself, well, it's a simple matter. Why am I behaving like this? Why am I reacting? And when I can understand why I am reacting, then I'm able to separate. It's not just what this person has said, there's a history behind it. And the history is the accumulation that I carry within myself of the past with that individual or somebody else, but it's all there. And this has simply triggered it. And so when I can do that and understand that it's not this person actually, whatever they've said is not such a big deal, but it's my reaction that I have to understand and then calm myself down and come back to Baba and say, okay, Baba, full stop. I've learned my lesson.
Thank you. Sister Jayanti, how can someone recognize and appreciate their good fortune? I mean, literally, how can they? Again, all of us are number wise. Baba's giving us all the same things, and some are appreciative and some are not. So how can I appreciate my fortune more?
Every single day, give thanks to Baba and count the blessings that you have, how much you have been given by Baba, by Drama, so that your life is comfortable, it's easy, and you've had the circumstances in which you're able to study, have yoga, and move forward. Just appreciation of all that I already have, not even thinking about I want, because that takes your mind into a very destructive direction, that how much I have already. And for each one is different, it's unique. And so, yes, it might be a very tiny little center, but it's pure, it's clean. I'm glad that I have this space, which is Baba's sacred space. And if it's a big center and there's many souls living with me, can I appreciate that also, that I have so many companions. So just make your mind appreciate what it is you have already at this moment. And your heart will be filled with gratitude and you'll be able to smile at your fortune and say, thank you, Baba.
Yes, so what I'm hearing you say, actually not even about this moment. It's about an attitude of gratitude. It's really cultivating a mindset of just being grateful for everything, which
Absolutely.
is to come also. Is not here yet, but it's coming.
But also whatever I have now, even if I have a very, very simple meal, can I be grateful that, thank you, Baba, I have a meal which is sattvic, which is clean, which is sacred, which is going to give me strong health in body, and is going to give my mind sustenance also. And so if it's a big meal, a good meal, well, thank you, Baba. I'm fortunate that I have this. But yes, it is definitely a cultivation of that attitude of gratitude. Whatever I have, let me be grateful for that. Today Murli was very interesting. Anything adverse that comes, see it as good luck. I met somebody, I was in Oxford this morning, so after class we were passing by in the corridor, and she was having trouble walking. And I said, how are you doing? And she said, well, I'm grateful. And yes, it's painful, but I'm grateful because I'm settling my karma quickly now rather than later. So instead of complaining about the pain, she was smiling and putting it in a very positive way. And so, yes, I'm having trouble walking, but it's okay. Karma is being settled. I'm being liberated. I'm becoming free. So absolutely in every single situation, there is something to be grateful for.
Yeah. And recently I had this realization, I mean, maybe others have had it already, but how peace is so connected with happiness. And so when I'm at peace with what happens in my life, when I accept it, then I'm happy. So that was a good realization. So, gentlemen, quite a few other questions that have actually come in, not related to this Murli and related to, well, this one is related to the Sakar Murlis. So this week, Baba talked about Baba mentioned the word drill teacher, become a drill teacher. So if you could explain that and also your understanding of sanatta, dead silence.
The stage, my attention also had been caught by this expression, whoever is sitting on the gadi is the drill teacher. And, you know, when in school you're taught to drill, then the teacher demonstrates it and hands up, hands down, legs up, legs down, whatever. And everybody follows whatever the person who's teaching the drill is doing. And it can be quite exhilarating. It can be very strenuous, but you have to do what the drill teacher is doing. And in this case, Baba's meaning that if I'm the drill teacher, I take my mind to Paramdham and I create that awareness of being in that world of light. And I see with my third eye, I, the soul, and all other souls with me in that world of light. And maybe not everyone in the room can feel it, but some will definitely feel those vibrations and rise to the occasion and be stimulated to make the effort to reach that same stage. Then I'm in the angelic region, the subtle region, and I'm with Shiv Baba through the angel Brahma, and I myself take on my shimmering costume of light, my sparkling dress, the angelic form. And as I adopt that, I, as a drill teacher, and again, I'm creating that atmosphere of the subtle region so that others can also partake of that. And then I come down to the corporeal world. But now I come down as the detached observer in God's remembrance, seeing myself here and others here also. But I'm in that mode of observer, the detached observer. And so nothing that's going on here is impacting me. And so this is what Baba meant by drill teacher. You yourself maintain those stages, and through your vibrations, others will also be pulled to join you in those stages. So, drill teacher. And Sanata, Baba uses this word in the context of how when there's a powerful sannyasi who's very genuine and they truly have detached themselves from everything, and their pure thought is to just leave and merge into the light. Well, that's not going to happen, but that's their consciousness. I'm leaving this world to go to the world beyond. And I'm sure Baba gives them a flavor of that, a taste of that, before they go on to their next birth. But that word Sanata Baba's using now for all of us in the context of detach from the body and just be with God. And that atmosphere of absolute silence will pervade that room. And we ourselves have experienced how sometimes it just happens that 5 people, 50 people, but everybody is very still and silent, and the atmosphere is pin drop silence. And that atmosphere is one in which I'm drawn to God, others are with God, and those vibrations also are reaching out beyond the walls of that room or that house, so that we're sharing that vibration of peace with others. And so Sanata is a beautiful expression, but it implies this total and absolute silence. Think about how it used to be electric in the auditorium, whether it was Om Shanti Bhavan or Diamond Hall. Before the Dadis came onto the stage, there'd be chat, socializing. The Dadis would walk on and we'd all be quiet, we'd be still. Dadi Gulzar would go off into trance, and it was tangible. The atmosphere had changed. And when Dadi's eyes opened and we would feel Baba's presence was, again, absolutely something that 25,000 people would be feeling. And in that atmosphere, and we were there in winter time so often, so before that, people had been coughing, had been fiddling, there was the scrunching going on, this and that. But gradually the room becomes quiet. And then Baba actually comes and gives drishti. And there would be total silence. People's coughs and colds would become merged for those few minutes. So that is Sanata.
Beautiful, thank you. So, Jayanti, a question for you. You are a great example, Sister Jayanti, is a great example of selflessness and surrender of I. Now, has this been natural for you, or have you made any specific efforts for this? Have you ever needed to make efforts to let go of your desires? And what are the steps to take to become more selfless and surrendered?
It's been a journey in the sense that in 1969, when Baba sent me back to London and he gave me a remit, he said, serve, create Brahmins. And Dadi Janki had said she'd seen thousands of Brahmins abroad. So I came back with all of this in my head, that I have to do service. And I went knocking on many doors, writing many letters, and not much was coming out. And of course, the reality was that I'd only properly understood Gyan about 14 months earlier. And so it wasn't even a long time. And service in India was ready-made. There were ready-made platforms, and it was a novelty to have somebody speak in English, and it was easy. I didn't have to do very much at all. And coming back to London, it was hard work and no results. And Dadi Kumarika's letter, what about self-service and starting a program for yoga for myself? When people say, why doesn't the center organize a yoga program? Well, the center will do what it can, but yoga is me. I can organize a program for my own yoga wherever it is I am. So, and there was no center, so I had to do that. But through that period of about a year, from 1969 August through to August 1970, that whole year was my year of realization, intense meditation, and a deep realization that it couldn't be I that did service. It had to be Baba who can do service. And even detaching from service in a sense. Well, I'll try, but if there's no result, then that's drama. So for a year, there were really no results at all. And then September 1970, the door opened for service at the Spiritualist Association of Great Britain. And the person was just understanding everything I was saying. And then instead of giving one lecture, gave time for a series of 4 lectures. And I asked at the end, how did you trust us? Because Rajni Ben, my mother, was with me. So how did you trust us? And he said, that past year, he had taken a sabbatical and spent a year in silence. And at the end of the silence, he had a vision of God as light. And here we were with those pictorial albums with the description a little bit. All the exhibition pictures in one little book. And that picture comes up fairly early. First it's a picture of the soul, then it's a picture of God, Shiv Baba. And he said that as soon as you said, God is light, I knew you were speaking the truth. And I listened to everything else you said because I kept checking in, but it took about half an hour to go through that whole thing. So he, just kept nodding his head and yes, carry on. So I realized absolutely that when Baba wants something to happen, it'll be Baba who'll make it happen. It cannot be me or you or anyone else in that way. We make the effort, but whatever is in the way in terms of our sanskars has to be cleaned out. Then God can do his work through each one of us. So that was a big, big lesson, a lesson of struggle, but then coming to terms with the situation and just using yoga, and then seeing the result of that. And that led to, of course, the first delegation coming a few months later, and then a few months later, the center starting. And then, because it was Dadi who was here, I knew always it was Dadi's yoga power that was making things happen. From a space where there were just 2 or 3 Brahmins, suddenly the Brahmins started emerging. Baba, Dadi working together, and it happened. There was never any doubt in my mind that whatever I was doing, it was Baba who was working through me, because I didn't have the skills, I didn't have the confidence, I didn't have the know-how. How did it all happen? It was Baba, Baba, Baba. Really, so that early lesson was very, very beneficial for me.
So, gentlemen, I have quite a few questions, but just on the heels of what you just said. So if one is in a center, do they just keep saying Baba, Baba? I mean, it's a combination of purity, bhavna. I mean, what attracts souls to the center? That's really my question.
The power of purity, the power of peace, the atmosphere of love, of harmony within the people in the center, all these are the magnets that draw people to a center.
Great. Okay. So maybe a few short answers for these. okay, this one. What is the difference between seeing the form of the soul and the original qualities of the soul?
When I'm visualizing you as a soul, I'm just seeing that sparkling light. And I make myself do that in most connections, meeting people. I will want to see them as a soul. So it's a visualization I'm practicing. Just see the soul. And then when I'm interacting with you, I have to remind myself of your original goodness and truth and love, that those are your original qualities, and not notice anything else that's going on.
Thank you. How will glorification take place in 1 minute?
To all of us, as they see God's qualities in us, they will know that the Creator is doing his work.
Okay. And then, gentlemen, here's a practical question. So what is the correct way to dispose of old paper Murlis? Is it okay? Is it okay to like burn them up, or is it disrespectful, or can we use them as scrap if they're plain on the back?
Well, I would suggest that you shred them or you burn them, but probably shredding is the best. And yes, make sure that you do keep a full set of the 5 years cycle of the Murlis, and also the Avyakt Murlis. Make sure that you keep a full set of those, whether in the book form, but I don't think we have books for every single year, but to whatever extent you can get from the books, but also the actual paper Murlis. So keep a set of both the Sakar and the Avyakt, and the rest you can shred.
And another practical question, when we say use fresh fruit and vegetable for Baba, so how fresh is fresh?
What happens here is that when the first fruits come in, we make sure that the first is always for Baba. And vegetables, we don't go shopping for vegetables every day, but we offer food to Baba every day. So the vegetables, we make sure that they're not damaged, they're not harmful, they're clean, they're fresh. And so whatever you've bought, they're in the fridge or the cool room, and you're using them on a daily basis, but you're cooking. And so you're putting in those vibrations of love and joy in them anyway. And so, yes, you don't have to go shopping every day for veggies.
Great. And maybe I know that we've talked a lot about silence, but maybe in a minute or two, you'd like to just give a synopsis about this weekend retreat, because I know you took a lot, they took a lot, and no definition of silence.
We were experimenting with the group of guests. A few of them have been to dialogues and so on, but also there were some very new ones, first timers. And we made sure that they had had a practice before they came. Because if they didn't have a practice, we'd tell them, well, better that you come for a dialogue rather than a silence retreat. Because it's not easy dealing with yourself and whatever comes up in silence all day unless you do have the practice. So, but the amazing thing was, I would say it was 100% success. Everybody carried away a very beautiful, powerful experience. Mornings, it was exercise a little bit, and then it was 15 minutes meditation, and then a class. The length of the class would vary, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, sometimes if there were questions, a bit longer. And then after breakfast in silence, then they'd be away doing their own thing, walking. It was beautiful weather, beautiful gardens. So most of them would be out walking in the gardens. And then we'd have collective yoga again from 11:30 to 12:30. And then again, lunch and silence and free time. Then again, from 4:30 to 5:30, we would again have collective yoga. And then again in the evening, we'd have collective yoga from 7 to 7:30. And then from 7:30, there would be a sharing of experiences, so that if anybody was going through whatever, they would talk about it. But everybody spoke so beautifully about their experiences in silence that we really didn't need to be, usually there's one bad apple and they're not having a good time, they're not able to focus or whatever. But it was a box of very good apples this time, not a single bad one out of any of them. And all of them wanting to follow through this experience in their own homes, through drishti, through creating a good atmosphere, mansa seva. We took up all of these aspects and explained them. But also the intention was that it's not that they're cut off from the world, but there's silence and then there's communication at night. Then again, they go into silence and again, they move out of the silence. Because in Lokik life or even life at a center, you're not going to get silence, silence, silence. There's a lot of work, activity. And so can I, as Baba says, be in silence, but then use that silence as I come into action and communication, but use the qualities I've experienced in the silence in my communication. So it was a very good formula and it worked exceedingly well. And I think everybody left inspired.
And that classic line, gentlemen, that Peter Senge said, that silence is our host, and we would not kick out our host. Yeah,
Right.
that was
And
moving.
he also used the expression that it's like our host keeps beckoning, calling us to itself to experience the silence, because we'd be engaging and talking. And between every talk, every person who spoke, there'd be a very comfortable silence. So, when you're with somebody and there's a lull in the conversation, it feels uncomfortable. But in this case, it wasn't so. It was very comfortable. And so somebody would speak, then there'd be silence again, then somebody would speak. And so he said, silence, our host, beckons us to itself. Very lovely.
So thank you. And it is going to be Sister Jayanti's birthday on the 16th of May. So I think we have a few people who'd like to hand you a few flowers. Are you there? If you show yourself, then Srimat can highlight you. So gentlemen, have a wonderful birthday. It's lovely that you are still with us. So
Thank
Dadis
you.
have gone. Who just put your flower up, whoever has their flower. Anybody else? Ah, lovely. Okay.
Thank you.
So yes, Sister Jayanti, have a lovely day. And I know you're also going to Iceland. So all good wishes for that. Thank you
Thank
for being
you.
with us.
Okay, Om Shanti. Thank you, everyone.
Shanti. Have some meditation now.